Hello, my lovelies. Melanie here. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to check that I've got the speaker up enough. Hopefully you can hear me okay. I'm going to talk to you today about my journey of spirituality that started in my childhood and my experiences going to healers and other spiritual beings for not just healing, but readings and all sorts of things. Because I became aware of something the last few days, connected with someone that I've met recently. And we were talking about how when we get onto Facebook and other social media type platforms, people see us and they don't necessarily know anything about our background. And even people that perhaps think they know me and have met me, perhaps let's say outside the school gates when we used to school the children in the conventional way before homeschooling, but they never really knew. I don't think I mentioned necessarily to many of them about my healing journey, about my abilities as a healer, my intuition, and about how my spiritual journey started in my childhood, and also about how my healing journey of learning to be a healer, of accessing and embodying my gifts more fully, came into being over 15 years ago. If you're seeing this in real lifetime. So we are the 30th of October 2022. So I thought it was important to come on today and to just give you a little bit of background about my spiritual journey, and that this is where it has led me. And it's been very beautiful in so many ways, and it has been so supportive and so transformational and empowering on so many levels. And so I wanted to tell you a little bit about that, and to also say to you how powerful it is to be on this beautiful spiritual path and to tap in even more fully to our beautiful, powerful gifts that we have in this lifetime, and how it really does have so many magical messages, so much love and support. And there's so much that comes from this spiritual journey that really does light you up really fully and reminds you of who you truly are as well, and how beautiful life is, and that the soul is eternal and all that kind of thing. But what I'm going to do before I kind of get right stuck into it, I wanted to introduce this topic for today, because I know it's going to be really powerful. It holds some really precious key points within it that I know will be really, really wonderful for so many people that see this, whether they are just starting out on their journey or whether they're further along with their spiritual path. But I'm going to cleanse the room again. I'm going to do this with you as we share this sacred space between us today. And I'm calling in Archangel Michael to hold the space and to support me in cleansing the space as well. He will be here with us along with the other angels that want to come in. And I'm also asking my spiritual team to step fully forward, to be fully present, and to give me clear signs if they want to say anything specific as well. Oh, morning, lovely Shani. Good morning. I hope that you're well. Hope all good with you. So I'm just going to get straight into this. I'm going to read the title again. I've made notes because that way I can follow this. So my journey of spirituality from childhood, because for me, this all started when I was very young, and my healing and intuitive gifts came in, intuitive stuff and sensitivity came in right from the early days, from, when I remember being a very small child. And my healing gifts became very apparent as well as I progressed and became a young adult. And I was using them for myself to help heal myself. And within all of this, and this is just so magical, the blessings and the healing that is within all of this for all of us, when we really open up with that faith and trust and believe in ourselves and let that ego mind just fade away and step into the full power of who we truly are on that divine level. So as a child, I was very aware of my sensitivity. I was very empathic. I was very compassionate, and I felt people's feelings, and I felt very fully. And a lot of the energy that I picked up on, particularly around me, perhaps in my family environment at times as I was growing up, and also in my schooling environment as I was growing up, there was a lot of heavier energy from other people that I took on board, and it was overwhelming and it was very difficult to handle. And I end up taking on a lot of other people's stuff, a lot of other people's fears, worries, doubts, and their negative behaviours, limiting belief systems, and so on. And I would just feel this so deeply. And I probably at the time thought that everybody perhaps felt this way. And my mother was very like that. We were both so similar in our spiritual lives, and in our ways of thinking, our knowings, our intuitive stuff, and all sorts. So I guess I thought it was just natural, but I realise now that it's something, and I'm sure you will share this with me if you're here, that it's something that quite a few of us share together, is that deep sense of compassion and understanding and sensitivity towards others. But we so easily pick up on other people's energy, and we can take this, what I would call heavier, denser energy in, and it doesn't serve us well. And it's not until we become more aware of what we're doing and we understand what's going on with the energies that we realize we have to learn these tools in order to manage our energy more fully, to manage it, to put up boundaries, to implement boundaries, to use a protective energy to protect our own energetic being, and to stop us from taking in a lot of other people's stuff that's heavier, denser, difficult stuff to deal with, and to stop them also projecting so fully onto us, because as empaths and so on, we get a lot of that. So I started off like this, and I realized I was started getting intuitive as well. And in my teens, well, probably before that, Mum and I would talk a lot about different areas of spirituality, different therapies, different types of holistic treatments, and different things like astrology, and excuse me, the Chinese signs, star signs, and mediumship, and our guides. And we talk about so many things, and it was wonderful to have someone within my peripheral, even within my family unit, that I had that soul family connection with. And so not all of my family by any means felt this way, but my mum and I had that special bond there that always held us together, even through difficult times. We always had that basis of that spiritual connection and deep love for each other, even though there are times where we got on each other's nerves, no doubt. We did sometimes. But so through my teens, we would go and we would see mediums, and it wasn't necessarily that I was getting a reading, because I think before 16 you can't, but you know, I would listen, or I would be there, or it was all really exciting. And then I would go to a local centre called the Arthur Findlay College, and I would get spiritual healings. I'd go, and Mum and I would get a healing each. And this was lovely, and it was on the doorstep of where we were living at the time, and beautiful big country estate, and you'd go inside and there'd be different healers working, and you'd be drawn to different people, or you'd have booked in and they'd have your name on the list. Whatever it was, I kind of look at it that divinely guided, and you see who you're meant to see at that time, and you will get what you're meant to get from it. So it was interesting. My introduction to mediumship and spirituality and guides, our own spiritual guides, and healing came in very young, before I was 16 and before. So it was very beautiful for me, and it was always very much a knowing and a remembering of my spiritual path, and of knowing that I was a soul, knowing that there was more to life than what was just the physical eyes. It was a gradual process and learning, but this had come into being at an early age for me. Hello, Suna. Thanks for joining me. And so it was a very interesting path that I'd embarked on. And admittedly, I had chosen my parents, my mother and father, for specific reasons when I came into this lifetime, admittedly. And I had chosen other family members as well, such as on my mother's side, my grandmother and grandfather, because of the absolute beautiful love that they had and shared for and with their family. And I saw that beautiful love, that absolute divine and unconditional love that they emanated. And I'm not saying that things are always perfect in families, even when they have that deep love for each other, but I could see that before I came into this lifetime. But I also knew that it wasn't going to always be like that for me. And I knew that although that was my grandparents, that wasn't what I would experience throughout my childhood with my own family. And that is not to say anything negative. My mother was very loving and very, very sweet and kind and compassionate, and felt things very deeply. And I chose her for that reason. And we connected so fully on the spiritual levels with things. And we loved each other so very deeply. She's passed away. She's in spirit. She watches over me and my family now. And my father, that I love very much, he was very different, and was very different growing up to that. And there were lots of things to do with ancestral stuff, family programming, ancestral programming, societal program, particularly for men of that generation, whereby I had chosen that particular person not only to teach me lessons in life, but also and support, and actually, ironically, to support me in growing spiritually. It might not have felt like it always at the time with different people that come into our lives. But also, I realize more than ever now that I can be supportive to him on different levels, and more on a spiritual level. So how amazing is that? And I can support and help other family members in my family unit and extended family unit through my path, and through choosing this particular lifetime and these people that I've chosen to spend this lifetime with, particularly as family. So I just think it's so beautiful. And when you're in the thick of it, particularly growing up as a child, it doesn't always make sense as why are we in this position, or why are we having these challenges, or why have I been given these particular things to deal with? Well, actually, it makes far more sense when we look at it from a spiritual perspective, and we understand and remember that we actually chose to be here at this specific time, in this lifetime, in this world, in this beautiful earthly realm, and that we chose for specific reasons and lessons to learn, the people, particularly with our families, that we have come into this lifetime with. And it's so incredibly powerful, and it's a beautiful tapestry, really. of different emotions, of different feelings, and admittedly there are many challenges, and it's not always easy. I grant you, I know, I empathize, particularly as the empath, but it's something I wanted to talk about. It's something I felt very important to talk about today and to mention to all of us that gather here together in this sacred space, in this loving, non-judgmental environment that we share together. It was something really important that felt very current and on point to share with you today, whether you're on live or on replay, whether you see this today, next week, 10 years down the line, it's relevant to you. There is something here for you. And so I'm so happy that you're here and that you're listening to this. So as you can see, I came into understanding about the spiritual world from a very young age. And I thought this was really important to talk to you about and to set the scene for you, because of course, I've been going live with my lives for about a year now, which is a celebration. So I'm celebrating that, give myself a pat on the back for doing that, because it's stepping out the comfort zone to a degree, isn't it? And even though I love it, you know, this is a new aspect to my experience, but I'm loving it and I love sharing it with you. So it's just really, it's really amazing. I've lost my train of thought there, but yeah, that's what I was going to say. I wanted to really share with you where I've come into this picture from with my spiritual experiences and growth, and how my healing journey started a very long time ago. And I started actually really tapping into my healing abilities more fully over 15 years ago, when I learned angelic Reiki, which is Reiki with the angels. So Reiki healing and angelic healing I was learning. And also I'd tapped into spiritual healing as well, which I was basically doing for myself and with the angels before going on my Reiki journey. So I know that for many of you, you've been watching me maybe for a few months or so, and thank you so much. I love the fact that you're here. But my spiritual journey goes back so long ago, really. I'm in my 40s now, so it goes back, 35, 40 years. And my healing journey with healing, Reiki, angelic, spiritual healing, etc., goes back 15 or so years. And so to many of you, I may be new on this Facebook scene or YouTube scene or whatever it may be, but I wanted to let you know that actually it's something I've been doing and resonating with and loving and aligning to for a very long time. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I still have challenges. We all do. You don't get to a certain point and know everything. You don't get to a certain point and no longer have challenges, or it takes a very, very, very long time to reach pure enlightenment in that way. So I wanted to share this information with you, and I wanted to share these, if you like, nuggets of wisdom, because as you go along your journey or step onto your path, you may have different thoughts and different feelings. And there may be times where you're on your spiritual journey and it's really beautiful, but then there's challenges that come up. But do not fear and have that faith and trust, because there are challenges, yes, and they do come in, but they are meant to come up for us to look at the triggers, to look at the difficulties, look at the heavier energy, and to acknowledge it, and to be able to release it lovingly, to work through the difficulties, and to rise more fully in our divine loving power. And so although different challenges can come in, this is all part of the divine plan. And don't put too much pressure on yourself, because I think what I'm thinking, and I'm sure it will be relevant to some of you here today, is we can get so far on our path and think we should know it all and shouldn't be feeling challenges still. But that's not the way it works. But what we're doing is we're building up these beautiful, like, bank of resources, spiritual tools of how we can manage ourselves more fully, more lovingly, more supportively, to deal with the situations, challenges, difficulties, heavier energies that come into our peripheral, into our environment, into our energetic field, into our life. So it's important to mention, and it's meant with much love and nurturing love as well, to be kind to yourself and to be supportive and loving to yourself, and to remember the self-care, especially at the moment, actually, because we are in solar eclipse time. I believe we are in solar eclipse time at the moment. I think we're still in it in real time because we're towards the end of October 2022. I believe there's one early November coming in as well. And this solar eclipse energy does bring up, it bubbles up a lot of things that actually we can sometimes think that, oh my goodness, I thought I dealt with that. I peeled back that to see what the fear or the worry or the doubt was, and I dealt with that. But oh my goodness, it's come up again. I can't believe it. And I had this recently, and I was way too hard on myself. And afterwards I thought, no, stop there. I'm not going to be hard on myself. Let that go. Be kind to yourself. Be loving to yourself, because what Spirit are doing is giving you another lesson, a deeper lesson in this, to learn even more fully and to really get on top of these challenges even more fully. So I thought that also important to mention, especially at this time with the energies as they are. Now, I want to talk to you about the value that a medium or something of that description, someone that is bringing through other beings of light to give information to you. So now I do this with channeling of sometimes my guides, sometimes it's with ascended masters and goddesses, and sometimes I get information that come through from other spirits. You know, I don't like to use this term, but I'm going to say it because I know the spiritual church, I think, often can use this term, but as in from spirits, dead people who've physically passed away and have gone into spirit. So I sometimes channel those messages, but I do not class myself as a medium. I'm more a channel and intuitive. And although I've done a few classes of mediumship, it's something I'd like to explore more fully. But the gift of the medium, the channel, whether it's like I do, or I know many of you do very similar, is so important. It is invaluable. It is so powerful. And this is what I realized as I was growing up in my teens. And it's something that I want to put out there to you, especially if you're new to this, because the power of a medium, a channel, there are other names as well, is that power to bring a message through to someone who has lost somebody. So for example, for me, I might go to a medium and they might bring through my mum. Of course, I get my mum coming through to me and I feel hurt as well. But they might bring me through a message from my mum who's passed away. And I know that the message is correct. Sometimes it is very private information that no one else knew about. So the power in that message, particularly for someone that is not on their spiritual path and has not stepped into their spiritual path terribly fully at this point, is incredible. You even get people that go to mediums, etc., who don't believe in it, but they're interested. They think it will be fun, so they go along. And then they get the shock of their life in this lifetime where they realize, oh my God, it's true. You know, this person can bring in spirit. They can channel, they can hear, see, whatever ability it is, clairvoyantly and so on. And they give that message of love, of hope, of faith, of trust, etc. And within that message, of course, you know that their soul is alive. They have gone on. Their soul has transcended physical death. And they are an energetic being in soul form, which is our true home, if you like, our true essence. They are alive and well in the spirit world. They are not dead. Their physical outer shell is gone. That's died away. That's, you know, decomposed or whatever it is. But the truth is that soul is eternal and that your soul will continue on. And we are here for many lifetimes. And like me, you have most likely had many lifetimes. And not just on Earth, actually, believe it or not. You will also, many of you have experienced lifetimes in other star systems and such like. And you will also have experienced what they sometimes call between lifetimes. These are times where you might refer to it as being in heaven or being in spirit. And that's really beautiful as well. And I have done like a regression on myself for that as well, where I often see actually, I like to take myself back into that zone, because floating in a pure essence of divine love and beauty and peace and harmony in the cosmos, and these beautiful colors like galaxies of pinks and purples and blues, and it's so peaceful. It's a beautiful meditative space to take yourself to sometimes. But I'm not saying that, because for me, the earthly life, although it's challenging, is also an incredibly beautiful experience. I think we are so blessed to be in this earthly lifetime and to have that opportunity of being in the physical form again in this lifetime. We are very blessed to be able to have this time, especially for many of us in the Western world, where we can explore our gifts more fully. And we have come here at this time for a specific reason, many reasons, in fact. We signed up for this particular lifetime and time before we came into our mother's womb. And there are things that we want to achieve in this lifetime. There are things that we chose to achieve. I speak for myself on this particular bit in my life, in my family, like as a mum. And there are things that I chose to do on more of a collective scale, where I would remember and tap more fully into my gifts. I would grow and support myself more lovingly in a spiritual fashion, and I would be able to support and nourish others by my spiritual gifts and my spiritual journey and path and so on. And you will be exactly the same. There are reasons that you came into this lifetime. And if you're here now watching me, you're going to be of a spiritual nature, and you're likely to probably know some of those, what some of those are. And those are things that can be explored more fully through regressions and going within in a meditative state, and also through accessing Akashic records and things like that. If it's something you haven't done and you're interested in doing it, I just want to say it's something that I offer with my clients. So do reach out. I'm setting up this course which will cover some of this, but I do a lot of one-to-ones, or I offer a lot of one-to-ones, and that is something that I do work with some of my clients, and it's really, really fun. And if you just wanted to do a one-off session, that is also something that I offer, which is £65 from memory, 65 English pound. And it normally lasts about an hour, but it's not really about the time, but that's to give you an indication. It is really powerful, really transformational, really beautiful. And when I have done work like this with others or given a reading to others, what I've seen has been incredible, and they have been amazed and delighted with what they've received. So really beautiful on all fronts. So you can see the value in this work, and of mediumship and of channeling and of healing is just so incredible. And it's something that really, a lot of this has been lost along the way. A lot of these traditions, ancient knowledge, ancient wisdom has been taken away or hidden. It's not actually been lost. It's been lost from mainstream sometimes, but it's been hidden, it's been taken away, it's been protected. And so what we are here to do as part of our spiritual journey is to embody our gifts more fully, and to bring back the ancient wisdom and the knowledge that we hold as well within ourselves as part of the divine, as that divine spark within us. We hold so much ancient knowledge and wisdom when we connect in with our spiritual support team and our higher knowing, and when we do the channeling and the messages that we receive. It's so beautiful. So this is part of what we're here to do. So these are great gifts, and they can really lessen with them. I just want to mention about this medium bit again, the mediumship, and when we bring through higher divine beings of ancient wisdom and knowledge, this can really lessen the pain that we feel when we lose people that we absolutely love and adore from the physical realm. This is an absolute gift to know that the soul transcends that physical element, the physical body. So it's something that I really wanted to mention more fully today on this call, because it's connected in with all of this discussion and my spiritual journey and path and my healing journey and my intuition and channeling and so on. So I'm just checking my notes because I don't want to miss anything out. I don't normally focus so much on the talking, but this was important today. And there's these, what I like to call like these golden nuggets of information that I can get across quite quickly, but actually they're huge, powerful things. And some of you are going to know this already, but some of you might not be so aware. And this is really powerful, transformational, empowering stuff. And that is so important. And these are things that were taught in the ancient mystery schools of long ago. And they're coming back in, you know, they're in the Reiki teachings, they're in the other healing teachings, they're in so many things. It's everywhere, but it's not always in plain sight. But it's when you start looking for it and having the intention of it and opening up your third eye and your intentions and so on, that you see these things more fully and you remember. So it's very, very powerful. Now, I was very called to be a healer. Part of it was my own physical healing journey with an underlying condition. But I was just so called along the spiritual line, like I say, from very early on. And I realized that that is one of the things that I signed up to, if you like, before I came into the physical realm. I really want to make a difference. I really want to support other people, other beings, to really step into their true potential and their divine power, their true light. I really want to support, encourage, empower, and nurture other souls that feel aligned to me. And this is what I'm doing now. And by talking this through, this will make you think of what you are here to do. And for some of you, I know that you have a job that you love, and it's not necessarily going to be termed a spiritual job, but it's something that brings you a lot of joy. And then you might decide to bring in your spiritual gifts alongside that as another kind of part-time business or something that you do to support friends and family. And you can charge as well, you know, if you know that your gifts are there to serve and you've got that ability, you've done courses or whatever it is, then you can do that. So I think there'll be some of you that will start thinking about this who aren't already embodying fully your gifts and using your gifts to support others and benefiting from it financially as well, because that's important. It's important to mention at this point that when we do an energy exchange with someone, for example, if we do a reading for somebody, if we do a healing for someone, then that is, you know, an energetic exchange. So don't feel like you can't charge for that. Don't feel afraid of that, because that is part of the flow of energy and money, that give and take, that, you know, you give a service and then you are paid for that service. That is a natural thing. So that's something that came up there that I knew was important to mention. So yeah, my spiritual journey was very much one, I wanted to be able to empower myself and to work through a lot of stuff that was holding me back, that was triggering me, that was uncomfortable, false belief systems, family programming, self-sabotaging type behaviors, all of those things. And I think we can all probably agree that we all have them in some shape or form. So for me, it was very important to release all of that garbage and to step into my full divine power. And therefore I would be much more my true divine self. And with that, I wanted to do it for me, but I knew I'd be a better parent. I knew I'd be a better mum for my children. I knew I'd be just able to offer more in terms of love and light and nurture for myself and others. So that was really important. And like I say too, I really wanted to be able to help others that perhaps are going through what I went through when I was younger, others that are going through what I was going through before I stepped more fully into my gifts, to be able to help others to heal themselves through healing, through their intuition, through doing these readings and tapping into the energy and supporting people on levels that they haven't experienced before, that are highly transformational and empowering. So it's really beautiful. So I think I've covered all that I wanted to say about my spiritual journey for the moment, because I didn't want it to go on too long, although it has gone on for 35 minutes almost. So well done. Thank you for hanging on in there. If you have, I appreciate it. And I think you enjoyed learning aspects perhaps that you hadn't perhaps acknowledged before about spirituality and our healing journey and the journeys that we all have in life, and a little bit of remembering and acknowledgement as to our choices of what we come into in this lifetime before we even are born. You know, that's a really, really important and empowering one to remember. And when I woke up this morning, this is the last part of my message, so if you can hang in for this, this is a spirit animal, a spirit totem message. And I woke up and I remembered I could see the animal. So this morning, as I was waking, the spirit animal of wolf, stepped forward for me very fully. And I realized I was waking up. And this is how spirit often communicates to us. When we're between that sleep and waking and sleeping state, and the ego is out, it's a much more fertile environment for spirit, God source, consciousness, our guides, etc., to impart information to us in this fertile ground of receiving and remembering, and without the ego coming in to say, oh, but was that real? Did I just think that up? Or as the ego, that's what the ego does. And when you're in this work and when you do meditations, you learn to let that go. I'm not saying it's always gone, it comes back in from time to time, but you remember releasing it and not paying it attention. So Wolf came into me, and Wolf is a very powerful ally and a very beautiful, powerful, strong, nurturing totem spirit, familiar animal. And I can still see the image of Wolf, very beautiful, looks very magical and almost otherworldly in the image that I'm seeing, just so clean and fresh and just incredibly beautiful. And as I woke, I knew that this was a message for me. Now, I know that it's important for me to mention this message now as I'm doing this live, because this is divinely guided, it's divinely timed, and this message is likely to be very meaningful for some of you as well. So I want to impart this information and this knowledge and this beautiful spiritual message from the spirit animal of Wolf that came through to me this morning. Now, the wolf is a pack animal, and they do so much together. They support each other. They're a loving, nurturing pack family. And you have got the nurturer and the birthing of the female energy in the wolf, the divine feminine. And you have the provider, the masculine, the more physical element of putting things into motion, of the masculine, divine masculine. I've written a few notes actually that I wanted to write down about wolf because I didn't want to forget. Now, wolves are found on many continents, and with that, you know that they're so adaptable. So wolf comes forwards, and this is the message that I'm getting here. Wolf, and you might like to tap into this as well and see what you feel. And I might have my eyes closed for a little bit here. I'm going to tap back in. Wolf is very much about family. They support one another. They nurture one another. They love one another. They have boundaries. They put out their boundaries. The pack know what the boundaries are. Other packs know what the boundaries are. And they acknowledge those boundaries in the sense of different packs can roam different areas geographically. But when it's monitored, you'll see that wolves rarely wander into other wolves' territory. They very rarely wander into other wolves' territory. They see, know, sense, acknowledge the boundary. And this, I believe, is a message to us here that it's important. It's in fact vital for us to set boundaries. And mine have definitely been pushed this week. I don't know about yours, but over the last few weeks, I've seen people, particularly on social media, pushing, wanting to kind of grab my energy. So this is just the nature of life and the world and social media at times. But wolf comes in, and I would say I've got so many beautiful people that contact me and that are here, and thank you, and you're wonderful, and I love that you are here, and I love working alongside you and doing this work together. But there are some times where people will message that are messaging and perhaps want something that actually, no, that's stepping over my boundary. And so wolf comes in to say, hey, I'm loving, I'm nurturing, but I'm powerful. I won't stand for someone stepping over the boundaries, particularly if it's to do with me and my family. I hold firm, I hold strong, but I am love and I'm light. So remember this with wolf, and wolf is very adaptable. So wolf is telling us that in these times of challenges and changes, we are adaptable. We are far more capable often than we realize to adapt to the changes and circumstances that are happening in our lives. So wolf steps forward very fully for us in this area as well. And to trust and believe in ourselves. You don't see wolf double guessing itself. You don't see wolf thinking, are my instincts right? Is my intuition right? Can I trust myself? Wolf knows intuitively and instinctively what she needs to do, what the pack needs to do, how it can work for the highest good of the pack. And wolf reminds us that this is an important lesson for us. This is a very, very important lesson for us humans, our soul in earthly form, to remember and to acknowledge in ourselves, to have that trust and faith more in our intuition, in our abilities, in our judgment, in our intuition, in our instincts, and so on. It's something that's innately within us. It's built within us. It's there. It's there to support us, and it's there for us to read the energies and so on. So that's another powerful message that comes through from wolf. And wolf can be quiet and knows when to rest. And wolf can be loud and knows when it needs to step up, needs to be heard, needs to be seen, needs to do whatever job needs to be done, whether that's finding food or whatever. But it has to have that balance, as do all animals. And I include us within that. All mammals, all beings, if you like. All beings need that balance. And wolf teaches us very fully that there's a fine art in the balance of life. And it's something I feel that I often have to come back to. Because I sometimes think, hey, I've done it. I've got a really great balance now. Work life and personal life and all of these things. I think, yay, I've got a really good balance. And then I start, for example, doing more of my work, doing more courses, and I love it. I get more jobs to do. I've got more of other types of work going on to do, separate to the spiritual stuff. And I think, oh my goodness, feel really disorientated, really, you don't feel so aligned because you've taken on so many projects, so many to-do lists, and you end up thinking, oh goodness, I've come off track again. But don't beat yourself up about it. Like I say, I had a bit of a time of this week, and it was difficult. It was challenging, But I had to remind myself that, hey, I'm human, I'm learning. Yes, I am soul, I'm spirit in human form, but I'm learning and I'm getting these lessons and I'm acknowledging them. I'm not just sweeping them under the carpet. I wouldn't do that. I'm acknowledging them and I am growing and learning and evolving spiritually as I do this. I'm becoming stronger and more resilient and so on. So it's really powerful. These are all really, really powerful messages from our beautiful spirit animal, the wolf. So give yourself self-love and self-care. Don't push yourself too hard. Set the boundaries, reset them when you need to, because that's what I realized I needed to do, because I'd set boundaries, which I thought very strongly, actually. But then I actually realized that people were starting to push those a little bit too much. Only a couple of things. But when it's coming into your periphery and you're aware of it, it's that message. This is happening. Time to take note and take aligned action. So this is an important message for you as well. And you might find that all of these points resonate, or you might find there's just one or two, but there will be a nugget of wisdom, a gold nugget of information here for you. If you are here live or on replay, there is a message for you that will be powerful and transformational. So in that respect, wolf speaks its truth. It speaks when it knows it needs to, when it comes from the heart, when it's important. So that's another point there. And wolf is very much about freedom as well. Hello, Connie. Hello, Nanda. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me live. It's really lovely to have you with me. It's really wonderful to be talking and to know that you're there listening. To have people live is really lovely. Actually, it's really lovely to engage our energies together. Even though you're not here in my room with me, you are here energetically in our purest soul form, in a way, isn't it? You know, we're here energetically together in this beautiful sacred space that we share together, and that's really special. And I love the fact of all those wonderful souls that also listen on replay, and that builds the energy even more. So this beautiful collective energy of spiritual souls that are growing together and coming together in this space of love and light and non-judgment. So thank you for being here, everybody, live and on replay. So just to finish with this wolf totem animal that so beautifully stepped forward this morning, wolf is also about freedom. And this is freedom for you and your loved ones. And it's also those lasting bonds, you know, those family bonds, the pack, the bond that we share. Now, this goes beyond our blood family for us human souls. This goes beyond the pack we were physically born into on the earthly plane, you know, the blood family, if you like. This goes as in the bonds with our pack, our soul family. This is like us gathering here today together. This is our bond, us spiritually enlightened and awakened beings that are on our spiritual path, that are learning and growing and continuing to do so. You know, it's a process of learning and growing and embodying more of that true soul self. So that's a really beautiful message and a great one to end on with. Remember that your soul family are like your pack. They're a part of your pack and they're really, really special. And this is such a beautiful environment, the beautiful, nurturing, loving, caring environment that we share together as our spiritual soul family pack. I love it. So thank you so much for joining me today and for listening and for learning a little bit more about me and my spiritual path and journey and how it did start from so young, and, you know, how I started healing such a long time ago. And to know that even though I might just recently have popped up on your Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is, my healing and spiritual journey has been since I was very young, since a child, really. So I really wanted to tell you that. It was very important to tell you that. It felt aligned, and I'd been receiving messages from other soul family friends that had encouraged me to do so again, because I think there's many of you that will enjoy hearing it and will benefit from hearing it. And there's so much that's come up there today that is really so powerful and transformational for the lives that we live on earth, and just so empowering, so empowering. So if you have only just joined in, please do, if you feel called, watch from the beginning, because there's a lot that's been discussed in quite a small bit of time, and you'll enjoy it, and I'm sure that there'll be nuggets of gold wisdom and so on for you to gain from it, because there always is with these lives. If you're here for a reason, whether live or replay, even 10 years down the line, there is something for you here in this beautiful energy that we're sharing. So thank you so much for being with me today. I'm just going to play the bowls to clear any energy that we're ready to clear, just to support you. All this talking of energy and spirituality, stepping into our power, and some talk of what we've released along the way as I've talked about my journey. So I really want to play these bowls just for a few moments. And if you can, I wasn't going to play this for long, but I think what I'm going to do is just play it for, say, 5 minutes. If you haven't got time to listen now and you want to come back on the replay or whatever you want to do, then please do. And thank you for watching to now. I'm going to play the bowls, the crystal singing bowls, for about 5 minutes, because I know that there's a lot of you that join me here, you lovely souls, who really, really love the singing bowls, which is just so awesome. So thank you. So I really want to just play these a little bit, just to help you to shift off any energies that you're ready to release. And what I would say before we really get stuck into these 5 minutes is, if you want to do this as a meditation now, please make sure you are not operating machinery and that you are not driving. If you are, please come back to this at a time when you can relax and enjoy it in your own space, when you're not having to concentrate on something else that is vitally important. But if you are ready to journey with me for a few minutes, then please stay on. And you might like to then close your eyes and get comfortable on a bed or on a sofa or seat, or sitting up or laying down on the floor, whatever suits you, in a place where it's safe for you to do so. And you might like to close your eyes and to become aware of your breath. Breathing in, breathing out, that beautiful rhythmic breath. And focusing in on our breath is incredibly powerful for spirituality as well. And we can get very centered, heart-centered, tune into that pure divine love and light at the center of our heart, that connection to source, spirit, and so on, those beings of light and love. And we can also become aware of our third eye, the area in the middle of our forehead, between our eyes. Kind of here, if you can see that, I always feel it here when my third eye starts getting energetically busy. So around that sort of space between the eyes, on the forehead almost. And you may like to then focus on that and tune in to your spiritual team. And you might like to visualize the source element of God's source consciousness, your spiritual team, coming in from above as well. In this beautiful spiritual space that we share, we connect very fully in this meditative space to our spiritual team and our higher knowing and to source. So just settle into that, just focusing on that if you'd like to, and getting heart-centered in that place of love, light, self-love, self-worth, self-forgiveness when it's needed, and non-judgment. Key aspects to a happy, healthy, loving life. And you can keep using that breath to stay focused in this spiritual meditative space if you would like to. So breathing in and breathing out as I play the bowls, just for a few minutes. And as you listen to the bowls, you can have that beautiful intention of these bowls supporting you to release what's ready to be released energetically out of your aura and energy. And have that intention, visualize, see, feel, know, filling up with even more divine light from source, from consciousness. We are always fully connected to source and to the earth, but being in these meditative spaces helps support and encourage us to see, feel, and know more fully the messages that we receive from our spiritual support team, source, and our divine knowing. In this beautiful sacred space that we share in this meditative space, we're reminded of self-love, self-care, self-respect, self-forgiveness, all of those things that are so important to fill ourselves up with. It's so important that we love ourselves fully. We are totally, unconditionally loved by Source and our spiritual team. Know that you are love and that you are loved. Love yourself fully. That's something that you can do for yourself. And in fact, you are the only one that can do that for yourself. So please, sometimes we all need reminding of that. Because sometimes we can be our biggest critic. Sometimes we can be hard on ourselves. When we're beautiful beings of light and love, we're empathic, compassionate, loving beings, and we need to do that and be that to ourselves also. So a little reminder, if that's relevant for you today, whether you see this on live or on replay. And in that wonderful connection that we always have to Source, because we are a part of Source. I'm reminding you that you're always connected, and that you may like to just acknowledge that beautiful ray of light that comes from above, or you might perceive it as that coming from above, and that source energy that comes through the crown chakra, the third eye, the throat, the high heart, the heart, and the lower chakras as well, and that embraces and embodies the whole of our energetic being, and that fills us with that love and light, that is there always. But you might like to really bed down into that, really feel that nurturing and that love. And as we begin to come out of this brief meditation, I would like you to ground. And by grounding, what we will do, it means to ground into the earth. We will visualize, know, see, feel a cord, a ribbon, a root, or a ray of light from our root-based chakra, the base of our spine, going down, down, down through our legs, through our feet and the chakras also in our feet, and down, down into the earth, into Mother Gaia, into that deep heart of Gaia, the crystalline grid of Gaia, where the energy and the love and the light and the nurture stems from. And feel that loving energy come up, 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 up that root, cord, ray of light, ribbon, up into your being, up into your energetic being, going through your feet, your legs, your lower chakras, your upper chakras, however it feels and resonates well for you. And feel that beautiful energy of Earth Mother and Source, all mixing together in that beautiful unity, if you like. That beautiful mix there, which so beautifully depicts the earth as our physical body and our soul as Source, doesn't it? Those two, because we are a human being with a physical body on the earthly plane, but it is our soul, our true soul, soul nature and soul that inhabits this physical earthly body to make it possible to live on the earthly plane in the human body. So I hope that makes sense, and I hope you've enjoyed that. What I'd like you to do is you really ground down, really feel that strength and love and security, and really feeling physically present on the earthly plane. I'd like you to become more aware of your surroundings. And I'm having a drink, desperate for a drink, excuse me, probably because I've been talking so much. And it reminds me to remind you that it's very important to drink enough. And you might want to take regular sips of water now and throughout your day, maybe a little bit more than normal with the releasing that we've done with this beautiful short meditation. It might be short, but it's powerful nevertheless. So you might want to do that now. Just get a glass of water, and well, hopefully you've got one beside you. Have a sip of water. And if you haven't quite yet come out of the meditation fully, just rub your hands perhaps together, wriggle your fingers and toes, move around a little bit to just feel more fully present in your physical body, your beautiful physical body that houses your soul while you're in this earthly lifetime. So I'm just making myself feel really more fully present and grounded, even though I haven't been so fully with my eyes closed, etc. in the meditations. Perhaps you have, but I still really feel the energies, and it's really supportive. Listening to the crystal singing bowls, sound healing is so powerful. So it is special. It's really transformational. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you so much to all of you that have joined me live. It's really magical to have you here. And it's really magical to have those of you also that have joined in on the replay. And thank you so much. Love to you all. And sending you lots of love and light and healing for your highest good. And keep shining your beautiful light, because what you're doing is so beautiful. It makes a difference. It's important. It's raising the vibration of the planet as we're doing this collectively together. It's very special that we share this together as well. And so well done, and keep shining your beautiful light. And I look forward to joining with you again soon, but enjoy the rest of your day. And if you do want to find out any more about me and the classes and the one-to-ones that I offer, I did mention a little bit more about it earlier on in this live, and gave an indication with the one-to-one sessions and the price of that. If you do want to learn or know any more, please reach out. Please connect if you would like to journey with me further. It would be a pleasure to do so. And if you want to know any more about the circles that I'm offering in my home here in the UK and online, please also get in touch. These are 20 UK pounds, which is about 23, 24 currently USA dollars. And it's a really lovely way to connect with like-minded souls and to continue to build our soul family. This work is so transformational, precious. It's vital work, isn't it? And it's a beautiful way for us to grow and to embody even more of our light and to connect even more fully with our soul family. So thank you so much. Lots of love, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.